Carmichael. I mean, I wasn't going to start like that. I'd say I wouldn't, but let's just go in for it. So, look, why are you here today then?
Oh man, I think we had a pretty good conversation yesterday, and I keep just thinking about mindset, right? I think that right now, I don't think the physical fitness is my biggest setback. It's the mental fitness. So I'm here now to try to improve that and enhance that.
I love that. So, to get a bit more understanding about that, let's flash back. Last time we spoke properly was pre-London Marathon.
Yeah.
Can you fill me in what happened in that marathon and everything up to date?
Definitely. I think in London Marathon, I was playing timid, right? And I don't like playing the game of life in general, timid. And I think that has to do with like being cautious, right? Before that, I had Valencia Marathon where I had some fueling issues. So I had some gut issues that led to me not finish. Well, I finished the race, but I was like walking some of it, running some of it, walking, running. And so I didn't really hit a good time on that. And I was so timid in London Marathon to make sure that I could at least get through without the stomach issues that I feel like I didn't reach my full capacity, right? And then even within the race, letting some external thoughts kind of creep in that made me hold back even more. So now that I got a decent time in London, I'm looking to mostly now see what am I actually capable of. So, and I think that has to do with mindset. I think the fitness is there. It's going to be there this next training block as well. It's just, how do I tap into those inner thoughts, you know?
What does a timid performance look like?
I think London, man. You know what I mean? I think it's like second guessing if you should push more. It's at the end of the race at 32K where everybody's like, oh, the last 10K gets hard. But in Kenya, I'm training to get faster as the race progresses. I'm a stronger runner as the race progresses, right? So that's what that timidness looks like, is that kind of that cautious approach and not trusting yourself, right? And so I got to get out of this next race.
How does that show up in your self-talk?
I think it's doubt, right? In that self-talk, it's a lot of doubt that's creeping in, not really trusting the training, not really trusting the coach, the doctor, all these type things. And so it impacts that, right? It's you're now approaching 32K and saying, okay, now it's going to get hard, and instead of saying, hey, like usually my mantra is like, you get stronger as the race progresses. Have patience with pain, like all these type things, right? And so you start to move away from some of that positive self-talk. And now what creeps in is, oh man, like here comes 32K. Oh, it's going to be rough. It's going to be like, man, you're going to drag. But when you think like that, your body naturally shuts down. So now I'm trying to be much more intentional in every session and every easy run, making sure my mind's engaged at all times, right? So I think that is one thing I always optimize for, is like physical recovery, but also cognitive endurance. And I think that cognitive endurance is equally as important as the physical fitness. So yeah, going into or going back to London Marathon, that timidness was that doubt, that lack of cognitive endurance, and that lack of just self-belief in pushing strong.
I like that phrase, cognitive endurance.
No, thanks, man.
I'm going to take that.
Yeah, thanks.
So the seeds of doubt that were planted
Yeah.
from Valencia
Yeah,
prior to London Marathon.
definitely.
And that showed up in a timid nature and approach to the London Marathon, right?
Yeah.
So if we can look at it from that side, the doubts that were occurring during the London Marathon,
Yeah.
what are the seeds that sparked those doubts?
I think some of those seeds were like not having the right performance in Valencia, right? Even telling myself like, hey man, you say you're a sub 240 guy, and you can hit that, like when are you gonna prove it, right? And then and when you're not having that performance, it's like, okay, like, are you that guy? And questioning yourself, like, are you capable of that, you know? So yeah, that's kind of like, those are some of those seeds. Is I think it's that lack of performance, even though like the sessions were going well in training, but you don't want to be a training hero, right? You want to be the guy that can perform under pressure. You want to be the guy that can perform in high stakes situations, right? You want to be the guy that can make things happen when called on. Those are the things that are like a person that I want to be, at least. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's kind of where things are.
But the last performance is the determinant factor.
Yeah, that was the seed. I think that was the seed. The last performance was that seed. I think I gained enough confidence in London to be like, okay, like I can do this, but not enough confidence in myself to be like, trust yourself at the line, right? Like I want to perform at the line, right? And even before that, that race, my coach was like, hey, like, do you want to roll the dice? Or do you want to like play it safe? And mentally, I did want to roll the dice, right? Because that's how I want to play. I want to say, look, if I win big, great. If I lose big, great. Because at least I'm playing on the line, right? And I didn't play on the line in London. I went in wanting to play on the line, but I think that seed from Valencia did come back and kind of haunted me throughout the race of like, hey man, just play it safe, like calm down, like, hey man. Even I remember it was maybe 32K, 35K. I took the last gel, and it's the only time I've taken maybe 5 gels, right, in a race or in general. And I said, I think you're close enough to the finish line that if anything happens with your stomach, it'll be okay, right? But I need to be confident. It's like, no, this is going to push me through the finish line. Like, that's where that self-talk comes in. That's where the language needs to change, right? Because those are like all that I allowed the seed from Valencia that was planted to blossom because I kept feeding it with all these negative thoughts, like within the race. You know what I mean? Even though this last training block, I did practice the fueling more, which also showed in London in a positive way because I even got to take on more gels, right? So it's like it's all mindset. Because physically I was ready to do that.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. So what seeds have you planted from London Marathon, now moving ahead, 3 months time, Valencia Marathon, round 2?
Yeah, I think now it's like, I feel like London did give me a bit more confidence in like what I'm capable of, right? I felt very comfortable throughout that race. Even if you look at the splits, like I was kind of timid. I then pushed forward a bit. Then I got timid again. So I think trusting myself more too is something to take away. And also the mindset. So even in training now, I'm very focused on engaging my mind constantly, right? And that positive self-talk, making sure I'm thinking through all obstacles when it's not perfect, all that type of stuff. So I'm training my mind much more than I'm training even my body right now. Like obviously I'm training my body, that's a necessity, but now one of my key takeaways is like spend as much time training your mind as you do your body. And so that's what I'm reading books, you know, I'm using Get Ahead, I'm using, you know, you and I have our sessions. So I'm trying to use as many tools as possible to train my mind equally, right? Like even I'm training my mind like I would the easy runs, the intense sessions of like, you know, maybe like our sessions or whatever it may be. I'm taking a similar approach as well for the mind.
Well, let's unpack that because we're at baseline right now, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Where
Baseline.
So is 3 months, is that a fair time frame now till Valencia?
Yeah, I think it's September, October. I think we have like 4 months.
4 months?
Yeah. So okay. we have a good amount of time. I'm feeling good about that. But it's also something that happened after London was that I did have, I was training, you know, really well back in Kenya, but I had like a small like ITB stiffness that we're slowly coming out of now, right? And so that taught me how to re-engage my mind for healing, right? Because now I was compensating with my legs so much, I now have to relearn and rebuild that confidence. So even though it was such a bad moment initially, I looked at it as a way to build like a new protocol for my mind and also to like just heal for the race, right? And I think that I was thinking about this yesterday. When you talk about mind-body connection and weightlifting and all these type things, that's real. And I think in running, we don't talk about that even enough. That mind-body connection is so critical in the rhythm in which you run, making sure that you're very cognizant of like, I'm noticing my foot gets a bit tight when I'm running. Like, how do I make sure I'm running easy but still fast? The perceived effort. I told you I'm reading this book called Endure. So it's talking about all these different things that constantly I need to make sure that I'm thinking about throughout training, throughout the race, and things like that. So I'm just preparing my mind intensely, man, right now.
So a bit more awareness and more tuned in, more deliberate.
100%.
Is that fair to say?
Way more intentional. Yeah.
Does it come to a point where sometimes there's too much information, or is there too much information you can take in?
I think there's a time where you have to become silent, right, to digest the information. So I think, yes, there is a time where you can have too much information, but it is important to digest that information too, right? But there is a point in time where you have too much information and you need to actually apply, right? So I mean, that's what I'm trying to do a lot of now, just apply until I feel like I need to water again, right? And that's with the reading, that's with our sessions, that's with the app. So all these different things. But I do think there are periods of silence, but it's not something where you say, oh, I've reached my limit, I'm done now. It's just like training, right? I think you have to have these weeks and times where you're really ramping up, and then you have these deload weeks. I think it's the same thing with your mind as well, and that's what I'm trying to do this next block too.
So how are you feeling then for this next block?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Mainly because I think actually the struggle I've had the last 6 to 8 weeks has actually helped me be more in tune with the power of like my mind, right? So I'm feeling very confident right now. I feel like I have a good system going into the race, and yeah, I'm ready to see what I'm capable of and walk the line, right? And I think now I definitely have the tools. I think as you continue to go through running, you constantly are building your system, right? And so I've been doing a lot of the biohacking stuff with like different supplements, different blood testing, and all that has been great physically. And now it's time to do the same with the mind. So the books, Get Ahead, all that type stuff I believe is the right toolkit to get to the next level mentally for the race. So I think that's like the big differentiator as well.
Okay, well, let's get that baseline. I want to see what that is.
Yes,
So what is if we're looking at Valencia, what's the goal?
Sub 240.
Okay.
Go sub 240. And we'll decide how deep that is closer to the race. But sub 240, bare minimum.
That's a time-bound goal.
Yeah.
Is that it?
No. The other one is to make sure that mentally I'm locked in, I'm healthy, I'm focused, and I'm exemplifying cognitive endurance throughout the entire race, right? I think that's one thing that I'm trying to optimize with biohacking. That's one thing I'm trying to get better at just in life. I'm also building a technology company. I'm doing the running, content, all this type stuff. And in order to do that, you do have to have cognitive endurance, right? So but by the way, I always say I'm an artist first, and that these outlets are different ways to express myself, right? So people in running should see the physical endurance, but also the cognitive endurance that I'm trying to exemplify. So that would be another like big like feat in the race. Like the time goal, yes, that's like some metric, yes. But the cognitive endurance throughout the race would be stellar.
How are you going to measure that?
With that, I think that's more like qualitative, right? I need to make sure that I feel that I left everything that I had mentally out there on the road, right? That's the biggest thing. I need to say, hey, because negative thoughts are going to come, right? What is the speed to correct those negative thoughts? And did I do that well? You know what I mean? It doesn't mean like, oh, I didn't have any negative thoughts. That's idealistic. I'm going to have negative thoughts in the race, but how fast do I correct them? And I think that is going to be, if I had to decide like a numerical KPI, right? It's like, how fast can I correct negative thoughts and turn them into optimistic thoughts, right? And I say optimistic because things aren't always going to be positive. Like you could be in a pretty shit moment, right? And just say things are going to get better, right? it's all perspective, it's all language. So that's another KPI, is how fast am I turning those negative thoughts into optimistic thoughts.
And that's going to help you get the goal, right?
Yeah.
The numerical goal of
Yeah.
sub 240, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I like that. Okay. Is there any other goals before we move on?
Those are the main goals right now. Just to make sure that I'm constantly exemplifying cognitive endurance and that sub 240. And I know we talked about this assessment, right, that we did, and I'm super excited about that. My goal is to also really understand, because I'm measuring everything else, right? The blood testing, the resting heart rate, all that type stuff. So the other goal would be to improve in the areas that I'm lacking in on the assessment, right? And look at that even after the marathon, right? So we do have some kind of data as well, you know?
Yeah, brilliant. So with those goals, you've spoken about the goals. I'm always interested to ask this. What will this race prove? And to whom?
To me, I don't think it's going to prove anything. It's just a stepping stone to the next thing, right? It's just like a check mark more so than proving anything. I think it is, like I said, like a form of expression, like to show that I'm capable, right? To prove to myself that I am capable of like running these times or pushing myself to those limits. And maybe that proves that, but I don't think I'm looking at it more as like a stepping stone, or like a stepping stone more so than anything else, than like, oh, I've made it. I'll probably at the end of the race say, great, awesome, what's next? But that goes back to childhood, you know what I mean? That's just how I was raised. So
What do you think impacts that?
man, it's like I think like if I think about my childhood, right, excellence was the standard. So if I got all A's, my mom, my dad, they say, can you do it again? As soon as I graduated, my mom said, you met my deadline. Excellence is the standard. That's how we operate every day, right? So yeah, that's where that's where it comes from. If you have that in your life every single day, that just becomes the way that you have to operate. It's not rare. It's what's expected, right? And so constantly expecting excellence of myself is just second nature now. And excellence isn't perfection. It's just operating with excellence every day, just giving your best, you know?
So what does an excellent performance look like in Valencia?
Excellence performance looks like I said, the cognitive endurance with like the positive mindset. That's above all, right? The time goal is actually secondary.
So the time goal removes when we consider excellence.
Exactly. Because it's just like making sure that I left everything out there that I possibly could, given the circumstances that I was presented. That's it, right? Because you can't control some things. Some things are just out of your control. But it's like, did I operate and pull every single lever possible to get to the best result that I could have gotten that day, right? Now the time goal and all that may come, but excellence is just the way you operate. It's just a philosophy more so than anything.
So on the time goal, it's a sub 240.
Yeah.
You've never achieved that before.
No.
How do you have confidence in something that you've never achieved?
I think it's I'm operating as a sub 240 runner every single day, right? I'm already that in my mind. I'm already that in the way I train, the way I eat, everything, right? Sleep, everything, right? So, I mean, honestly, even with ChatGPT and all this type stuff now, you can literally go in there and say, what does it take and what does the lifestyle look like to become a sub 240 runner and beyond, right? And so I've been operating within that system, right? I have like an operating system around athletics that's going to take me to that goal, not just sub 240, but everything beyond that. And so I think I'm operating like that every single day, and that's why I'm confident in where I'm going.
Confident in the actions.
Confident in the actions. I'm so focused on the input, and that's why I said like sub 240 is just a stepping stone. It's because I'm so focused on the inputs. I don't want to put a limit on like where I'm going at the end of this, right? I'm just constantly trying to add to the process, constantly trying to refine the process, take away things that are negative, input things that are positive, and go deeper on things that are actually working, right? So I'm constantly just iterating, right? So even in this operating system now, right, I'm analyzing my blood tests to see my iron levels to make sure they're at Olympian level before I go to altitude to make sure I'm producing as many red blood cells as possible, right? So I think that's why I'm confident in this sub 240 and then sub 230 and then sub 220 and all these type things is my operating system just keeps getting more and more refined, right? It's like Apple. It's constantly getting better.
Software updates.
Every day, man.
I love that. Well, look, I mean, I asked you earlier why you're here, and I love the answer. And the thing that we're trying to achieve is this goal of the sub 240, amongst being mentally building our mental endurance through this race too. We got you to do a little bit of an assessment.
Yeah, curious to see this.
So this is a new feature
Yes.
for Get Ahead
Yes.
called the Mental Edge. And what we're doing is we're getting you to run through a 20 framework set of questions, multiple choice, and based on your answers, we've put together your mental report, which is an assessment of your baseline of where you are now.
Perfect.
It'll present back sort of your mindset at a glance, which is a bit of a review of who you are, what your sort of strengths are, and what your areas of development are. It'll list out those areas of strengths and those areas of maybe that we call them limiting patterns, the things that we maybe need to put a bit more attention to and be a bit more intentional about. And it will play back some sessions that you need to then start working on to help facilitate that change. So what I want to do, which I thought would be quite good, is to present that to you now live.
Perfect.
To get your, I guess, authentic reaction to it, have a read through it, and we can digest it. I want you to challenge things. I want you to look at them and tell me what resonates, what maybe doesn't. Like, let's just look at it. So here you go.
Perfect. Okay. You're wired for endurance. Should I read this aloud?
Whatever you wish.
Okay, so you're wired for endurance physically, mentally, and in life. Training for a marathon while building a business puts you in a constant state of challenge, yet you don't shy away. You bring a strong, proven energy, not just to others, but to yourself, and you thrive when the grind is part of the process. Your identity is deeply tied to being the one who shows up, even when it's hard. But there's also a high personal standard that can tip into pressure. You stay grounded through discipline, and you push back hard when faced with challenges. But sometimes this leaves little room for recovery or celebratory reflection. The next leap for you isn't in building more grit. You already have that in spades. It's in learning how to direct it with precision so you can protect your energy, stay sharp, and sustain peak performance for longer. Okay, the deep dive is on the next page.
Let's just take that for a second.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
And we'll go into the next bit. At a glance, what are your first thoughts? Did you consume it well enough? Do you need to read it again?
No, this makes a lot of sense, honestly. If I'm really thinking about it, I don't celebrate. Like my birthday was like earlier this month. I don't celebrate birthdays. It's just another day to me. I don't rate anything higher or lower than the next. So I'm not celebratory in that way ever, right? In regards to recovery, I think that in some aspects, I do recover well, but the recovery is intense as well, right? Meaning like I'm in the sauna, I'm in this. I'm not like relaxing recovering, you know? So I think this is a pretty good assessment, actually. You know what I mean? Obviously, I like the fact that it's like physical. You're wired for endurance, physically, mentally, and in life. Like that's cool. But it's also like I'm also obviously I'm always focused on the 2% better, right? So what are the opportunity areas? So this like time for celebratory moments. What does that look like? And reflection, right? And the recovery as well. So I think this is a good assessment, and I'm excited to dive deeper into like what the strengths and all this stuff.
I'm gonna hold you back for a second.
Yeah, I know. Like, come on.
You want the data?
Yeah, I'm already like not celebrating. I'm like, yeah. What's more?
The reason why I bring it up is because I think that was the thing when we were looking at the assessment and reading it back, and just from literally the questions that the answers you just given me before we shared this report, a lot of that has already come to the surface.
100%. I'm like, dang.
You were using the phrase stepping stone.
Yeah.
A stepping stone is just, but I guess, a means to an end, right? It's getting on to the next thing. Is it a conduit, which is not actually the end goal? And I appreciate it's not the end goal, right? But can a stepping stone coincide with your 2% better mentality?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like this, right? The 2% better is so focused on progress, right? So that's why I'm still looking at it as a stepping stone. But to your point, it's also like, dang, you do need to take a step back and be like, oh, well, that was still a good opportunity. And I think I do, but it's also like in Buddhist philosophy, right? They even you think about death, or you think about all these things. You should give these things a breath, right? And so I kind of resonate with a lot of Buddhist philosophy when you're talking about like just give these things a moment, because like the future, the past you can't change, and the future doesn't exist, right? So okay, that moment's passed. The current moment is, well, it's time to get back to work. You know what I mean? And so I think it is a balance of some of these things, because but the good thing is I'm not happy or sad about good moments or bad moments, right? So bad moments aren't just gonna like tear me down, but the good moments I'm not gonna like sit and celebrate either. I'm just like, cool, like next. You know what I mean? So I think it is a balance of that, right? Because if you sit in some of these moments too long, then those bad moments tear you down too. Like if I have a bad moment, I'm like, cool, like what's next? Like it can get better. It's going to get better. You know? So yeah, it is a balance, man. It is a balance.
I think I completely appreciate what you're saying. And we do see that with some people. They will sit in the celebratory phase for too long and they become complacent and it won't move.
Yeah.
And then you get people that just move on completely without skipping that phase, or you get people that are hypercritical and dissect their performance to the nth degree. And there is a balance in between, because if we're looking at what we're trying to achieve, excellence, and we see excellence as this continuous process, or like, yeah, as a process, it's like continuing to progress. Then when we hit those moments, like if they mean nothing, if they're just a stepping stone, like there's no end goal at all, it means when do we achieve excellence? Like when do we achieve, I know process is important, but surely along the way there needs to be some sort of positive reinforcement as to why you're doing it. Otherwise you're not feeding the idea of doing it.
But I think it's like, if like with me, right? I love learning so much that alone is a reward for me, right? So my goal in life is to see what's at the end of human potential, which is why the 2% better philosophy is like my personal philosophy, right? Is because, and I started thinking about this because I used to have I had a sales consulting company, and I was in, you know, Macedonia where a lot of my team was. And there's a statue of Alexander the Great. You know, all the Greek gods were shredded and all this. And they were like trying to see what was at their physical peak before they died, or like as they died. And so that resonated with me, because I'm like, I just want to keep learning and trying the craziest things I can to see what is at the end of human potential, right? So the celebration happens at the end, I guess, right? Because I like the learning and the process brings me enough joy. It's just the race is a checkpoint. It's like, all right, can you bring it all together and see how you can actually apply that, right? So I agree it is this balance, but I might celebrate for a second. Just be like, yo, great job. Let's keep going back to the process, right? Because that brings me so much joy. You know what I mean? When I wake up and I'm running through the park, or I just did a session this morning, like, I love that. Like, the race is cool, but honestly, it's sometimes overpacked. It's annoying to, like, travel to sometimes. You're waiting hours before like, so it's like, the race is cool, but it's just a checkpoint. You know what I mean? So maybe that's why I don't even celebrate that as much, you know? I don't know. I need to think about this, actually.
Well, let's think about it, because I think I completely hear your points, and I think you're completely right. There's an enjoyment that you can gain from other things that you don't need to have a big party about, to appreciate. However, I wonder, again, I don't know what's right or wrong.
Yeah.
I don't. If this pursuit of human excellence that you're on, whether having a moment of celebration is a little bit more intentional, and it isn't just a review of what did I do, what did I do wrong, what do I need to do better, like, it does that have a place to actually help facilitate that achievement?
I need to think through that, because I think I celebrate, but it might not be the race, right? It might be that cool. Like today I had a great session. I'm like, oh, great, man. You're making good progress. I'm happy about that. You know what I mean? But I'm like, I may or may not celebrate the race. Like London, I got a PB. It was cool. But I didn't celebrate that, because I'm like, okay, cool. Like, this is a stepping stone to the I was in Spain for like 2 weeks. I went back to Kenya immediately. locked in, you know? Because I love the grind, man. You know what I mean? Like I literally, like I love it. I'm addicted to it. You know what I mean? And just because I just love learning so much, I think that's one of my highest values actually is critical thinking, learning, and just time with self. You know, so these are things that I am celebrating because I'm even celebrating that I get to do it every day, right? Like I'm capable of doing it every day. So I think there is room for it, but it just looks different, you know?
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
But I think it's also interesting to explore how we sometimes don't, like, say about learning. Do you want to learn and understand more, right? Like, you learned recently through your injury that having a bit more intention and awareness about that mind-body like connection actually helped you like run better. Like, it's helping with your training. It's being about intention, and that's going hard on my recovery is actually something that is beneficial. I love right?
Yeah, this is honest. The recovery part, 100%. I'd have to do a way better job recovering.
Yeah.
And just like chilling at the house sometimes, you know what I mean?
Well, but it's understanding those things as progress in of themselves, right?
100%.
Reframing that.
Yeah.
And in even the celebration of it doesn't have to be a massive, let's throw a big party, like a big get together. It doesn't have to be that, but is there a version of the celebration that I mean, shows progress, right?
I do celebrate, like, typically I'm eating pancakes after these long runs, you know what I mean? So I do celebrate like these mini things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm not one to like have a, like, oh, this is great, you know? Like, that's not my thing. But these small things that like Ergon Deli and like when I'm in London, I go there every week, man. You know what I mean? So to me, that's like, my small wins, you know?
Brilliant. Yeah. Well, is there any other final thoughts you had on that before we move to dive a bit deeper?
I want to dive deep on this because this is a super good report too, and I think that for me, I'm constantly looking at, especially going into this next marathon, is where am I at now, and like where can I improve, like the blood testing, the VO2 max test, the mind. So this is falling right in line with all that because you can't improve what you don't measure. And so this is basically measuring.
Exactly that. Yeah. So let's dive deeper, shall we?
Cool. Okay, your mindset in 3 words. Oh, I like this first word. I read this book. Okay, your mindset in 3 words. Relentless, grounded, proving. Some of the strengths. Intrinsic commitment. Your motivation is self-driven rather than relying on external praise, giving you a deeper well of discipline when challenges stack up.
I think that's fair.
Huh?
I think that's fair.
Yeah, for sure. One of my friends always is like, bro, you're always so like you don't need other people to tell you to push things forward. I was like, yeah, it's my life. I want to do this, you know. Effort as identity. You show up because it's who you are, not because conditions are perfect. The consistency is a performance anchor under pressure. Yes. I feel like I do show up like just because of who I say, all the man has is what he says he's going to do, is his word, right? So if you don't have that, then we're like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
So I made that commitment to myself. I show up, you know. Challenge-seeking drive. You actively look for ways to push limits. This keeps you progressing faster versus those who avoid discomfort. That goes back to even when I was 11 years old. When I remember this specifically is I played the bassoon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like this. You know what bassoon is?
I've only seen like big band stuff. Is it in the big band?
It's this like big wooden instrument.
Yeah.
And so I played that like as a kid. But the only reason I played it was my band teacher went into the closet and he like took out an instrument and he said, no one has played this in X amount of years. It's the challenging instrument in the band, blah, blah, blah. It was taller than me at the time. I'm not tall now, right? So it was taller than me at the time. And I said, I want that one. And that's the only reason I played the instrument. It was because it was a challenge. So I've been wired that way, you know what I mean? Bounce back fire. Setbacks fuel rather than derail you. This mental alchemy turns obstacles into momentum. Yeah. I think that's the strengths. But it's easy to read the strengths. Like now it's time to read some of the limiting patterns.
Let's go into
you know, I like how this is framed. Not just strengths and weaknesses. It's like strengths and limiting patterns, right? Like these things can limit you, but like it's good to be aware of them. And then like once you identify the things, you can be like, okay, like how do I adjust to turn some of these limiting patterns into strengths, you know?
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Prove it, trust prove it pressure. Tying worth to constant performance can make rest feel like slacking, risking burnout over time. I agree with this in regards to a lot of times when I'm just chilling, I'm like, dude, what are you doing? The other day I said, man, I need to be way more productive. And one of my friends was like, what? Like, bro, you're so productive. And I'm like, I need more. I need more. Rigid in approach.
That might sound better.
Rigid in approach. Discipline is a strength, but over-reliance on structure can make it harder to adapt when plans change. I agree. I try to be as flexible as possible, but I'm not that flexible on that. I'm not gonna lie. It's good and bad.
I think that's back to that mental endurance.
Yeah.
And like discipline is a great thing.
Yeah.
It is definitely put on a pedestal though, discipline.
Yeah.
Because discipline is just doing an action irregardless.
Yeah.
Like regardless of the repercussions, it's just
Yeah.
do the action. You're executed to do it. It's a robot-like behavior.
Yeah.
Which is really powerful for people that are pushing themselves. But that rigidity can mean that we don't adapt to the situations in front of us.
100%.
And that's when we need that.
And I think you have to have I would say you have to have a threshold, right? Of like, when do you change, right? Because discipline is good, right? But also flexibility is good, right? And so if you have a threshold and you say, okay, I'm willing to bend a little bit on this, I think that's fine. But I always say, if you give an inch, people take a mile, right? So there has to be parameters within that discipline and like rigid approach. So I do think that is a limiting pattern. But also it's one of those things that's like pros and cons, you know?
100%. I think that's the double-edged sword. Some of these limiting patterns are some things that have made you who you are, but in abundance can be ineffective, maybe, in certain moments.
Yeah. This is a good one. Pain as an opponent. You push through pain with grit, but still treat it as something to defeat. Reframing it as information could conserve energy and unlock flow. This is probably one of the biggest things, especially this next block. When I'm in Kenya, man, I feel like everybody loves pain, right? And it's probably because their perspective to it. And so I'm trying to change my perspective to pain as well, right? Even in my session today, I'm like welcoming pain more and saying that even in pain, I don't need to be stressed. I can feel at ease in pain, right? Even with like, I have a lot of tattoos. Even when I'm getting tattoos, when I'm breathing through the pain, I can ease the pain. And so thinking about that, even from a running perspective, is critical. I agree with this.
I think just on that one, we raised this earlier and I stopped you because I wanted to talk about it.
Yes.
Pain is but a word but it's also a feeling, right?
Yeah.
But pain in of itself, we are willing to expose ourselves to a certain level of pain depending on what it will reward us with.
Right.
Or what will happen as a result.
Right.
Someone having surgery, they know it's going to be painful, but it might fix them like their injury and allow them to walk. I'm willing to take that pain. I've got a tolerance for that. Even though it's a really high, like goes past that pain threshold, they're willing to do it. When it comes to running, and people say, I don't know how they push through and how they handle that. It's the thing that's tied to the pain. Like, what am I doing? I'm experiencing this pain, but I know that it's actually, like from a logical perspective, it's pushing me.
Yeah.
It is pushing me. Is that reframe of like, what is the pain actually doing? What is it associated to? Is it, we know, especially during events like a marathon, pain can be signals that you've got potentially a warning sign, like there might be something coming up that could be an injury.
Right.
So our brain will catastrophize that naturally.
Yeah.
And you said earlier about speeding up that process.
Yeah.
This is when we want to speed up that process of going through reading through the signals. So is it actually an injury? Is it something that's that bad? Is it something that right now means I have to stop? Right. That's a conversation that's going on in our head, which is tiring, you know?
Yeah.
So if it is a conversation that needs to be had, but if we can train that conversation ahead of time and we can understand our sort of signals of experiencing pain. So for example, you said you had this injury, right? There's certain somatic experiences I'm sure that you experience on a run that remind you of when that injury came up, like the pain that was there. Maybe it's a certain like flare up of like in that area.
100%.
What does your brain tell you when you feel that?
It's like, oh, slow down. But lately, what I've been saying is this is an opportunity to retrain the muscle, right? So I've even been looking at it as like, don't stop. Maybe if you have to go a little slower, it's okay, but continue to retrain the muscle, right? So I'm even shifting that, and I've noticed that there's been a humongous improvement in that healing, right? The session I did today, I could not do 2 weeks ago, right? I'd be like, oh no, like, but now I keep reframing that pain, and that pain is actually helping me improve and get back to the baseline right now, right? And so it's like you were saying, like the reframing of it and knowing that like what's on the other side of the pain,
And whether it's worth it.
Yeah, whether it's worth it. Like, I think it's worth this one.
Yeah. Well, when you're going for your goal, like, if it was, I've got to run a sub 240 marathon and that's it, is that a strong enough goal to expose yourself to the pain?
I'm not gonna lie, no. That's not, it's not. Because it's just like, I mean, it's like the superficial kind of thing.
It's arbitrary.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter. But it's like, I think everything that I have to become to overcome it is worth it. You know what I mean? Like, I have to really tap into myself. I have to learn more about myself. I have to listen and be in tune with my body. Those type things are quite interesting to me, where I have to build self-belief and confidence and all that type stuff, right? So that's what I'm saying. Even the time goal is secondary to those type feelings and the learning throughout it. And, I mean, right now, right? I'm learning even about my mind. That's beautiful. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's much bigger than just the time goal. It wouldn't be enough.
So that's what we need to get nailed down on, what that value-based goal is that drives everything.
Yeah.
It drives the self-talk. It drives like the actual performance in training, the performance that happens on race day. It drives the amount of pressure that you're feeling, how you react to that. It drives like your adaptation to have that sort of cognitive endurance and like how you adapt in the moments. The goal is the thing that is like driving everything.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if the goal is, that's the thing that instigates everything, if it's not something that is worth doing those things for, then you're not going to do them in the first place.
Yeah.
And I wonder, obviously we spoke a little bit about goals there. And I don't want to go too deep because I think I do want to cover some other stuff, but would you say that the progress excellence thing is more of the underlying intrinsic goal?
100%. It's to get 2% better every day. That's the main thing. It's like, how do I keep improving? How do I keep learning? And how do I see what's at the end of human potential? That's the goal, right? And that human potential is, like, I always say, I only want to do the things that take all of me right now. Like, I don't want to half-ass things, right? I want to do the things in life that take every single inch of who I am, right? And so, yeah, that's the goal. That's what these things, like I said, I'm artist first. So this is a medium in which I'm trying to express that, right? And business is the same. And art is the same, right? Like sometimes I'm like, I was doing clay the other day. Like these things take so much mental capacity. Like I'm using my hand. I don't use my hands that much, right? So all these things, I just want to do the things that take all of me in life. And so this is just a form of expression with the running.
And I would love to explore a way in which we can incorporate into that 2% mindset and that's all progress and excellence, where there is times when you don't have to be all in and you're still progressing.
Yeah.
Because being all in, I appreciate it is something that it pushes you, but it's exhausting at the same time.
Yeah.
And it also drives this self-talk and this narrative where anything less is not enough sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's trying to establish, can we operate in that area of not all of me is enough for some circumstances?
Yeah. It's a work in progress.
Yeah, without a doubt. What, do you want to go into the last one?
The last one is relentless commander. I guess this kind of fed into that. You're a drill sergeant in constant need to prove you're sharp, but leave little room for celebration, making progress feel like a duty instead of a win. Yeah, it doesn't feel like a win. It's just part of the job. You know what I mean? And it's cool. It gives me mental training focus. So flip the feeling, self-compassion's 3 chairs, rewire your response, that inner voice explorer, and the cookie jar. So, yeah.
So we won't go into all of those.
Yeah.
But that's just an idea of a plan to help you work on those areas.
No, this is cool.
And we'll keep today to exploring a bit more about your mindset.
Yeah.
But have you got any sort of initial thoughts, just having gone through that like high level, like, is that prompted anything? I know we spoke about a few bits there.
No, I think this is good. It's a lot of things that I've identified and I'm trying to work on more. And honestly, I always say like a coach can see your blind spots. So having Get Ahead, having you, it allows me to enhance these blind spots more intentionally, right? Meaning when I'm in a strength session by myself, I go hard, yeah, but not as hard as when I'm with my coach in South Africa, right? So same thing here. I think this is going to give me kind of the edge I need heading into Valencia to get the revenge. And maybe I shouldn't use that language, but that's what came to mind.
But why not? No, but why not? Let's explore it. Because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
always interested in the initial reaction. Why not the word revenge?
Because I'm like, dang, like that's such a hardcore word to use, right? But it is kind of revenge though, right? Because it's like, dang, like the marathon that time got me, right? I didn't have the mental capacity that race, right? I did let the stomach issues get to me. I didn't practice enough leading up to that. So there's all these things that I didn't do for Valencia, but now I have another shot, right? So it is kind of like, let's go. You know what I mean?
But is that going to help you on the day?
Yeah, 100%. I think so, because it's like I'm back, baby. I'm back. You know what I mean? I need that.
I think you need that edge sometimes.
Yeah.
All great performers have it.
Yeah, 100%.
So as long as, if you were saying to me this is revenge and only revenge, then maybe we'd have a little further conversation.
Yeah.
But you're telling me this is like an energizing thing.
Yeah, it's an energizing thing. It's like I'm excited because I realize all the first time I ran Valencia, and I'm also really loving that. I love Spain too. Like I used to live in Barcelona. I learned to speak Spanish, all this type of stuff.
Amazing.
So Spain is like also a special place, and now Valencia is becoming like a special race, you know? Because it's a race that I could do at the end of the year. It kind of tests me at the end of the year. It's supposed to be a fast race. It's cool. The environment's cool. And there's like a lot of things I'm even learning about the city, right? Because like even my nutrition just wasn't even good. I'm eating like, I love paella negra when I'm there. I ate that before the race. And that was probably part of the stomach issues, you know what I mean? So there's like some of these things that just like, hey, like I'm back and it's time to lock in, you know? So I'm ready for like all that. It's going to be good.
That's amazing. Do you like your inner voice?
Yeah, right now I like it. I think I like it mostly because it's very I'm constantly, everybody around me and myself, everything is like you have to speak with optimism, right? Positivity and optimism, right? You can't be positive all the time, but you can't be optimistic all the time, right? So I like that. I like that frame right now, the inner voice, and I try not to have a lot of doubt. When I do, I try to correct it as much as possible. So I like where it's headed right now, and I just want to keep improving it. So
Right now you got a good relationship. How about in a hard training session or in a race when something goes wrong?
it's getting way better now. I think even like training sessions today, I was like, just focus on form. I finished the last rep faster than even the first one, right? So I'm being so intentional with it right now. I feel good about it for sure.
How about when something goes wrong though?
Even when wrong, I mean,
Yeah.
even in the business, right? I was working with some developers and it didn't work out with them. And I was like, oh, this is a great opportunity. I've already learned X, Y, and Z. Boom. We pivoted to something much better. And I got something out, or I have something out now, releasing soon. Stay tuned, you know? I have something releasing now that I believe is more impactful and better. So yeah, I like the mindset a lot right now, mostly because it shows resilience, it shows passion, which I even thought about this. Like passion is like the willingness to overcome obstacles, if you will, right? Because like that's passion is that. It's not always just when things are good. It's like the willingness to overcome obstacles. So I have this resilience, I have this passion, I have this optimism. So I feel good about it.
Great.
Yeah.
Looking ahead to Valencia, what are you afraid of happening?
Right now, no fear. Hopefully we keep it that way. I know Valencia is going to go really, really well this year. A lot of things have been lining up properly. The mindset is on point, and I think I need to just keep developing and building that over the next 4 months or so. So yeah, right now I'm not really worried about anything happening in Valencia. I think I'm more prepared, and I'm gonna continuously be like more prepared as I go in.
I want to challenge the optimism.
Yeah.
So I think the optimism is great,
Yeah.
but we're in an environment here where we can release a little bit of the optimist, and we can explore something deeper.
Yeah.
Because if we have a great relationship with the optimist and that inner voice right now, that's amazing. But if we're then exposed to the other voice, and we're exposed to those other scenarios in race when we haven't prepared for that, and we're not used to that relationship, that's when there's going to be a bit of friction. And you know, you said earlier about being able to reduce the time in which it takes to be able to like process those things. Well, if we've not had a conversation with that other voice, let's reduce our voice to 2 voices then, shall we? That's
negative and positive.
Let's say that.
Yeah.
I think we can label those different as well. Productive, unproductive.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Fair enough.
But there could be different versions, right? There's different versions of our self-talk. We are the main person, and there's these different voices. We can talk about the angel and the devil, right? Again, the positive and negative stuff. We're taught that from an early age. If we're not really having that devil or that negative voice, having exposure to it, then on race day when it does pipe up, how do we have confidence in the fact that we're going to be able to communicate with it?
Honestly, I think, and this is not optimist, this is structure right now, right? I think I've done a great job of the people who are around me right now, right? So everybody knows the like mindset and all that type stuff right now. And in Kenya, like I'll be there 2 months before the race. So the sessions are bad. They suck. So it's going to challenge my mindset, right? But luckily I have Evans, who is my pacer there. He does a really good job of helping me reshape my thoughts, especially like, 25K into a 35 kilometer run, or, we do this one route where it's uphill. I think it's like 1,500, 1,600 meters of elevation for that run. So it's like all uphill. It's bad. It's horrible. So yeah, like I think those are some things, like as soon as I get down there, maybe 7 to 10 days after, we typically do that route. I think structurally, I just have the right people around. Like in South Africa, Neil, he's always pretty optimistic and positive, even when like he pushes me in the strength stuff a lot. Where I think just structurally, I feel good about it, right? I know those negative thoughts are gonna come. And so in those training sessions, I'm like just dealing with them and just trying to correct them and make it like the people in the races. I have all these people talking to me too. And that's the beautiful thing. So
Physically talking or
in my mind, because I remember Evans is just like, run easy. You got this, man. You got this. I'm like, oh, thanks, bro. So I hear the good thing is like I have all these positive feedback loops throughout training, right? And now I'm also going to get ahead, right? And I'm also going to have you. So I even have more tools going in to Valencia, And I think that's the big thing. So I know the negative thoughts are going to come for sure. Like I'm ready for them. And I'm going to push myself in training even more to feel them and deal with them. But I think I also just have the tools around to overcome them.
Yeah. We can definitely help you with that.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, it's going to be good.
Just so I've got an example. Can you give me an example of one of those negative thoughts, or the most common one that sort of comes up, if it comes to mind now?
Just usually like on the long runs, honestly, or actually no, even more than the long runs. When I'm in speed sessions, I'm like, oh man, Evans does a great job of this for me. The last rep, I'm always like, oh man, I don't know if I could do this next one. He makes me lead the last one, right? So then I'm pacing him, but mind you, he's just pushing me from behind, like going fast. So usually my last rep with him is actually faster than my other reps. So then he's showing, bro, look what you're capable of, right? So that's one of the times where I do have like these mental lapses, right? Also in the long run, at the end, we try to finish the last 3 to 5K faster. So yeah, I'm like, oh, I can't do it. Oh, you know what I mean? I'm always bitching, actually. I'm not gonna lie to you.
That's brilliant.
But it's just, you know, we get through it. And, you know, we're constantly saying the mantras like, you know, you're getting stronger as the race progresses. Focus on form is another one. So we're constantly adding new mantras too as we need them, right? And I think those new mantras are going to help in Valencia too.
That's great. I'm conscious of time, but I do have a couple more questions I really want to get.
Cool.
If that's okay.
Yeah.
Just quickly, we're speaking about progress, and everything's been about aspiring to achieve your potential.
Yeah.
Is everything running towards, or is there something that you're running away?
I think running towards. So I always tell people, like now I spend so much time alone, right? I'm like in the woods of Kenya like 5-6 months of the year, and then I'm in city like 50% of the year. And so I think I have now a deep understanding of like what I want out of life, right? So I'm not really running away from anything because I don't really know what I would run away from, but I am running to something, right? And I always say I'm not being pushed, I'm being pulled, right? Like I was trying to explain this to someone the other day, is I have such a deep passion inside myself for what I'm doing now that it's almost like it's hard to explain the feeling because words wouldn't do it any justice, right? Like words would understate how I feel. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm running to something, and ideally fast.
That's a great answer. Is there such thing as balance during a marathon prep?
I look at balance as intensity in everything, but that's just how I am, right? So even in the recovery, like I was saying, I was like the sauna, the ice baths. Well, I don't do ice baths. The sauna, the boots, the compression boots, the massages, all that type of stuff. But I do think, and I sleep pretty decent, especially in Kenya. When I'm in cities, I'm not gonna lie, I sleep mediocre, right? So I think there could be more time in lounging though, for sure. And that could be a little bit more balanced. But to me, balance is in intensity and across the board. But balance, I don't know how to answer the word balance. I'm not gonna lie, because balance to me looks different, right? I'm like, I have to go hard at all these things. Like after this, right? I'll go back to the gym and I'll go to the sauna, meditation. Like that's intentional, right? Even this morning, intentional on my meditation, right? So, and that was, but it's relaxing for me. I like having my mind engaged and all this type of stuff, you know? So yeah, what does balance mean? I guess, you know what I mean?
I think it's a fair thing. I think it's everyone talks about it, how like marathon prep's so involved, and it will take over your life.
Yeah. So it's okay though. Like I like that, right? I don't like, I used to party and all this stuff all the time, and I have no desire for that, right? I don't even have I told you, an ideal place for me would be to have a house with a chef there that's preparing meals every day, a sauna, a gym, and like somebody coming to do yoga, somebody coming to do some hate class or whatever, and I just chill at the house and my friends come. I would be ecstatic. I don't have to leave my house unless I go train. You know what I mean? And ideally I train, I come back, I recover, maybe I go for a swim, I come back, chill, yoga. You know, I could do that on repeat every single day, you know? So to me, that is balanced. You know, I'm swimming, I'm yoga, you know what I mean? So I guess balance just looks different for everyone. Like I don't like going out to eat. I don't like these things. You know what I mean? I want to spend as little time on food as possible. Ideally 5 to 15 minutes per meal is long enough for me. You know what I mean? Like maybe we go to a museum, and I do that. Like actually, like this is something that's cool that's happening in Kenya, right?
Good.
Okay, so I go to museums or performing arts every 7 to 10 days. Performing arts once a month, right? And so that's, I guess, my balance, if you will, right? Because the art side is important to me. Now we have a band that comes to my house in Kenya and performs. So yeah, we're having this bigger in November, where it's a band, dancers. It's gonna be crazy. So that's my balance. Do you know what I mean? But even that's like ridiculous. You know what I mean? But I love, like, I love that, you know? So, yeah.
No, I like the answer. Finding your balance.
Yeah,
What that looks
exactly.
like, and it's not 50-50 in the traditional sense.
Yeah. And there is times like where I do just chill, like the quote unquote burnout. Sometimes I just need to recharge, and it might be a Wednesday, and I'm just like, all right, I'm just gonna do yoga or something. I'm still need to move my body or whatever. Then I might just chill at the house all day.
I think balance is an interesting thing because balance, not to get caught up in this too much, but balance, people look over like a 24-hour, 48-hour period, a week period, a month period, maybe even a year, but people don't look over like a 10-year period of balance.
Yeah.
And they look at like what you're doing right now and like, well, it's tipping heavy this way.
Yeah.
I say, yeah, but if you now elongate that seesaw and look at what else I've done, I've balanced it out.
Yeah.
There is balance there. So
And it's I'll go a little bit deeper on this because there is things like with balance, for example, is like the past 2 years, I wasn't really working that much, right? I had like passive cash and I was just like training and chilling and kind of thinking about life, right? And then now I'm like, okay, working harder, doing this, doing that, whatever. Like it's more intense, but I just chilled and traveled and trained for 2 years. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think I always challenge people that say I need to be balanced, right? And I say, you go to work for 12 hours. That's extremely unbalanced, actually. The fact that you work 12 hours every day on one thing, that's not balanced. Like, at least my day, I actually, in my day, I have like 4 quadrants of mind and body, traditional work, or mind and body, experimental learning, traditional work, and community. I try to do all those 4 days, nothing more, or 4 hours a day, nothing more, you know? And to me, that's balance. But there's 16-hour days working on what my goal is, like define human potential, seeing what's at the edge of that. But it's incredibly diverse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So to me, that is the balance. I'm living in that every day.
Love it. Well, look, let's wrap up. We're going to finish off though with a little bit of a forward reflection.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. And look, make yourself comfortable. Invite you to close your eyes. You don't have to. Whatever makes you feel the most relaxed.
Close my eyes.
Okay. And all I want you to do is start to bring in an image to mind. And in this image, we're fast forwarding to Valencia in 4 months' time. We've gone through the race and we've executed it to our level of excellence. We've had our cognitive endurance tested and we've successfully performed well. We've hit our sub 240 marathon time and we've crossed the line. You're at the peak. You've achieved what you said you were going to do. All those things have been checked off. We're on that stepping stone. Now, view that version of yourself, of Carmichael. What he sort of looks like, how he's engaging, maybe who he's communicating with, who he's talking to, the energy that he's sort of radiating, having achieved the goal. Just bring that to mind for a moment. Now, as we sort of see that image of yourself growing, if he could turn to you right now and he could hand you just one bit of advice to help you get to where he is, what would that be?
I think that it would just be stay patient and keep getting 2% better.
Nice. Love it.
Yeah, man. I think that's it.
Yeah.
You know? Stay patient.
Can you tell me when you think patience wouldn't show up? Like in terms of like, is there a moment when you're not that patient now?
I think when I was younger, I wasn't as patient. Now, I think I always say I have historical evidence that whatever I put my mind to, I can bring into reality. So I know everything that I think is coming. I just have to be patient and resilient to get it. And the bigger that is, the more patient you need to be, the more work you need to continue to put in. So yeah, that's how I look at it now. But I don't think, now I'm way more patient. I'm way more calm, you know? Even if I have a little bit of anxiety towards something, I say, whoa, hey man, it's coming. Just be patient. So much better with that now. But I think that took some time. It took getting some wins under your belt as well, right? Because if you don't, if sometimes it is hard to be patient when you're like, I never won though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now it's just having a little bit more patience in that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, look, we're 4 months out.
Yes.
We've got baseline set for your mindset.
Yes. Yes.
You've got your mental profile, your mental edge. I'm looking forward to the rest of the work we're going to do together to help you get to those goals.
Definitely. Same, man. It's gonna be good.
Let's do it.
Yes, sir.
Nice. That's
Let's
it.
go.